Support for 100 Watts and a Wire is brought to you by 100wattsandawire.com. To subscribe to the show, simply click the RSS feed. While you're there, apply for your free 100 Watts ID and learn how you can help make 100 Watts and a Wire listener supported. Click the donate page and pick the option that works best for you. We've got a traveling toolkit, 100 Watts and a Wire gear, and more. That's 100wattsandawire.com. And ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It is time to get the transceiver that is best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with one of these transceivers.
And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Yes, sir, and hello to everyone. It's Christian, Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel, meeting you at the intersection of life and amateur radio. My headphones are too loud, and I was concerned a little bit about, I'm talking like I got a monitor guy. It's me. I'm going to have to turn around and get it and turn it down a little bit. But I hear a lot of room noise. But, it's kind of hot. I got to have a fan on here. Look, don't break my stones. We are amateur radio operators, and we will listen through the crackling crunch S9 noise levels to check into our favorite net. So we'll have to deal with a little bit of phone and chair squeaking. Let me get this headphone thing sorted out real quick. That'll be better. Some people I know love to turn their headphones up, and I guess it's to listen to themselves. I don't know, man. I don't need to hear my voice any louder than what's, loud enough to get in. There are just, frankly, too many voices there to try to separate and to amplify them. Well, I hope you're doing well because it's the end of July, and it is just hot all over the place. Even the Pacific Northwest has triple-digit temperatures. And I know this because I was running with Steve, W7UDI, last night on the Sunday 100 Watts and a Wire net. And he's also a firefighter. So he's called out, you never know. Steve's a regular on my Sunday net, but he gets called out to do his duty and has to handle his business, and that's just what's up. But it's dry in many places. Here in Missouri, we've not had rain for a while, and then over the weekend, we finally got a good soaking, what I'd consider a soaking. So it'll be time to cut the grass here before you know it. Well, speaking about things around the homestead, bit of a bummer. Look, when I'm serious about the show being the intersection of life and amateur radio, many other shows take on a technical, let's unbox this thing and connect it up. That's great. For me, we're going to go through life and figure out things, and if you dig it, cool. Many of you are there, and I know many of you are not, because it's just something you can't be bothered with, and maybe you're bored. Anyway, I've got a greenhouse and a pretty sizable garden. Gardening's another one of my hobbies. We'll have to talk about other hobbies and what people are into. Gardening is one of mine, and I went out on Saturday in an effort to clean it up some. The weeds, this time of year, the weeds are coming up. They're coming up between the things that are growing. For instance, I've got some sunflowers that are doing really well. They're probably 8 foot tall. And they spread out, and they hang over, and between them, they develop weeds, Could be a foot high. You can't get in there with a weed whacker getting in there to pull them. Becomes, a case of what are your priorities right now? And right now, my tomatoes are coming in. So much, in fact, I've had the juice. I put together 7 quarts of juice And this will be great come fall and winter time when it's time for soups and chilies and stews. Just waiting on the weather to break. My mom would say, "Don't wish your life away." My mom talks just like that. Don't wish your life. She'd talk more like from Baltimore. Like, come on down the ocean, hon. We'll watch the Ravens play. It's Joe Flacco. That kind of thing. She'd say, "Don't wish your life away," but I guess I'll just say I enjoy fall. I enjoy the change in the weather. And prepping for that becomes a consideration when I feel the temperature drop, like it did this weekend. We had 70 degrees in the evening. Nice. Open the windows up. But I start thinking about splitting more wood, getting more wood in that wood pile, in the old wooden shed. That kind of stuff. Anyway, I go out there and I'm ready to pick and do some picking in the garden, and I notice at my greenhouse that I just built in October of 17. It's got a rip in my plastic, and I've got this really strong plastic cover, but somehow, I don't know what happened. Storm, large bird with some sort of sharp thing. I don't know, man. It would take that because it has taken a lot of wind, 70 and 80 mile an hour wind. It just didn't make any sense. But the point of it is, it's a bummer. And I need to fix it. So it's kind of on the list. I've got an on the list type of deal. Getting back to amateur radio, I found out last night running the net that my SWR was high on this 40-meter double bazooka. It's up about 50 feet in the air. Serves the east and the west, so the legs are facing north and south. And I'm running an SWR 3.5 to 3.7 all the way across. And my first instinct is, get out there. And I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? You're clean. But this addiction to having to know. Anyway, yeah, so I walked outside and grass is wet. I'm like, dude, you're clean. This is the voices. You're clean. What are you doing? I just wanted to see if the legs were still up there, or maybe one had dropped down or something. Make sure the connection was fine at the switcher. Of course, I had to get down on both knees. Dude, you were clean. Checked the connections at the box, went back in. Dirty. Same situation. So what I need to do now is, it could be this weekend. I'm not pressed for it right now. I've got other things on that list I mentioned before. Plus, I've got another 40-meter antenna up there, so we're going to be all right. It's not like I'm out, and I can still listen on the one that's got high SWR, but, it's just another thing. I'm thinking perhaps it's a connection issue. Maybe my connector came free, maybe a little water dripped in there, or it could be the winds that came through 3 weeks ago that took out that 160 antenna maybe took the double bazooka, and where that thing connects to the centerpiece, the legs where they connect, for me, I believe that's a sensitive position in that antenna. I think it's a little sensitive in that spot where the legs connect to the centerpiece. Maybe something's come loose in there, and I can't get to that. I'd have to, I'm looking forward to building my own coaxial dipole, a.k.a. for marketing purposes, I think we're called a double bazooka. It is a good, quiet antenna. I like it. Broadband it. I like them a lot. My only concern with the double bazooka antenna is that where the legs meet the centerpiece seem to be a little sensitive, a little weak. There, I said it. You like that, MIT? Look up the double bazooka, the coaxial dipole. And MIT had put that together, I believe, in the early 30s. I like it. Military's used it, but there's an issue. Maybe it's a simple connector. I've had this antenna a while. That's the other side of this. Maybe up there or at the switcher is where the issue will be, and maybe it's a simple connector. Maybe it came loose. Maybe a little water got in there. Maybe it just, I don't know, shifted in the wind. Something is up now, but no big deal. We're going to be all right. that sort of catches you up on my weekend there. I want to come back and talk about the net. We've got a net move. I'll talk to you a little bit about that and a conversation I had on the net last night. Well, depending on when you listen to this, the Sunday net. We'll talk about a logo, a little bit of other stuff. Net logger, I've got some notes here written down, but we're unscripted rather, even, something. We'll come back and talk about all this stuff next.
When in doubt, hang 'em high. This is 100 watts and a wire.
The competitive edge you've been looking for. Raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship transceiver, the 7851 from ICOM. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, a crystal clear LO design, a spectrum scope, dual receivers, a digital voice recorder, and let's not forget the IC7610, the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. That's the new ICOM 7610, the direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver, and the IC7300, changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all ICOM radios.
100 watts and a wire.
That's right. That's my baby girl right there. Baby girl is going to be 4 years old in August. Holy moly. Big sis is 8. Just turned 8. Let's talk about the net. I have a blast doing it on Sunday. It seems to be the best day for me to get in the seat. Thursday nights, for some reason, going way back to, 2015 or whatever it was. Thursday nights became, hey, can you do it? Can you do it? Yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Yep, I think I can do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Postpone, cancel. And then you get a run where it's consistent for a little while. It's hard. It's hard to do it on Thursday nights because people have other obligations. People have families. And as we say, family first. You're paying gigs first. And consistency became an issue for me, so I put the net on hiatus. Started to bring things back in December. This is Thursday nights now. And revamped, retooled, got a new crew, a new approach. Came out in January with enough net operators to cover. If somebody were to be down, we started putting 3-4 people on a net. It got a little wacky, frankly. Now, I like 2 people, 3 people tops. Most nets run with 1 person, 1 net control operator, and maybe some relays if they're there and available. I like to do 2, upwards of 3. That way, me in the middle, somebody out west, and somebody on the East Coast, if we can do it. But Thursdays just became difficult for the summertime. People's scheduling got wacky. People have lives. They have lives. Nobody's paid. They're all volunteers. Also, our net control operators seem to be all at 100 watts power. And in these low sun cycle conditions, I think it created a level of frustration. I mean, if you're having 4 net control operators, right, bouncing around the country, which is good in theory, I like it. 4 is too much. You're sitting around waiting 45 minutes to be the net control guy. So if something happens and here you go, and you make calls and nobody comes back to you because maybe you're running 100 watts or maybe you're out west or whatever it is, you're frustrated. People are getting frustrated. They're waiting around or a turn was skipped here and there. It's not the sole reason. Power is a main reason. I think you have to have some kind of power running the 100 watts in a wire net. I know it sounds silly, but at this point in time, this is kind of where we are. I just had an idea. Just kidding. That was a text. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the 100 watts in a wire net to Sundays. 7 p.m. Central, I'll bring in guest operators. I'm already talking to people. Bring them in. And we'll have casual conversations. Last night, Steve, W7UDI, you know that call sign from his work with the Ham Nation nets, the after show net. And I've known Steve for years now. And he's been a great friend and Elmer to me. Plus, he runs some power and he's in the Pacific Northwest. It's a good combination with me here in the Midwest. And then, you know, Ian out in Maine, W1JIW. And that's good. We'll bring in some guests. We'll do it on Sundays. Another benefit of Sunday is it's Sunday. Thursdays are tough because people on the East Coast need to go to sleep and get to work. You know, so if you don't get to the East Coast right away, they need to get to bed. They've got work. Now, they've got work on Monday, too, granted, but it's 7 o'clock in the evening Central Time or 8 o'clock. You got a little more time in your evening on a Sunday, maybe. We also have second and third shift radio operators. You know, who could never, ever check in on Thursdays. Well, we can get you in on Sundays now. So that's what we're going to do. Thursday's always been a bit of a Achilles heel, but it is good for crop up gatherings of the willing. When the original net went down, I put it on hiatus. I said, you know, it's not consistent enough that people wait too long to get in, check in. People are waiting too long to run the net. Put it on hiatus and created the gathering of the willing. And what that means is anybody can go on any band, maybe post on social media that you're there and that you want to take some calls and just hang out and get some members together. Anybody that wants to come around who can come around and do a gathering of the willing. You know, share your 100 watt IDs, but it's not an official net. The official net now is Sundays, 7 o'clock Central, 0000 UTC, if that helps you. Listen for us on 7.188. Give or take a little bit, we've had a good spot there. I realize that Ole Miss runs on 7185. Plenty of space not to interfere with each other. 3 up. Totally fine. Don't get freaked out. Totally fine. And then 9 o'clock Central Time, we hand it off to another net, guys that have been doing it for a long time, called the Hole in the Wall. And they've been cool to us as well. So we've been able to fall into that slot. It works out just fine, and that's what we're going to do. I'll meet you this Sunday, 7 o'clock Central, for 2 hours. Look for, in the coming weeks, some guest operators. We're talking to Don, AE5, DW, Neil Rapp from Ham Talk Live. He's a friend of mine as well. These are guys I know. We've been in the, you know, we cross over. Amateur Radio Newsline, you know, all this sort of stuff. We support each other and each other's work. So it should be fun. There you go. All right, what else? And speaking of the net, I had a very good conversation. And Sunday net, see, that's a thing. Another thing is we had this structure. Like, net control operators will run for like 15 minutes, pass it. And anytime you get me in the mix, could be shorter, could be a little longer. And we don't do it just for the numbers. It's not about, hey, can we do 100 check-ins tonight? It's about quality contacts, making the contacts, speaking to the people, and also being polite to those waiting. But I had a conversation with Dick, Kilo United 4 Alpha Charlie. We had never spoken before. And it was a great conversation. He hadn't heard of 100 watts in a wire before at all, at any level, whether it's the show, social media, the net. He stumbled upon the net. I think NetLogger helps a lot with this because people passing by can kind of see what's up, what's happening. There's a lot of people that just enjoy checking into nets. Well, Dick got to talking to me, and I was explaining what we do, and he just embodied the spirit of amateur radio. He was telling me a story about he just left a group before he found us on 80 meters who were giving a newer guy a little bit of a hard time because he was running 100 watts through a G5 RV. And I said, say no more. Dick, save your words. Because I got it. He said, I left that group. I couldn't believe, and you know what it is? These people don't want your company. It's not that they're bad people. They don't want you to get comfortable in that frequency. They don't want you. They don't want another person in the crew. You know? You don't have 100 watts. You need at least 500 watts in these band conditions on this band at night. And a G5 RV? You hear that, Jimmy? Here comes Jimmy. Damn dog. Or cat, whatever. And I don't think that's everybody on 80 meters. I just think it's probably 3 or 4 dudes who've always done this. They're lonely, except for when they're together on the radio, and they just don't want you around. They just don't want you in the crew. You know, plain and simple. They just don't want you to hang out there. And they want to make you feel uncomfortable so you don't come back and talk to them. Screw those guys. They're not anybody's blessing anyway. You can figure out in short order that they're not people maybe you want to hang around with. Be that as it may, it is uncool to just not or cast someone aside. And I've seen a couple things in our 100 Watts in a Wire Facebook group over the weekend that bother me a little bit. You know, somebody asking a question and getting hit over the head about it. Whether they're baiting you or trolling you or whatever. The feeling of our group should be inclusive and not to jump to, well, that was on your chest. This was never created at any level to hit people over the head with their own questions and, you know, whatever. What is this for? How does this work? And people are like, are you serious? Well, those people that say, are you serious? They start to annoy me. You have to come in with a little bit of patience and humility and remember where you come from. You just came right out of the box as a superstar net control operator? No, you didn't. Oh, you're ready for emergency communications? You were ready to save somebody's life? No, you are not. You ready to go ahead and string this antenna up and make it and put up a triple stack Yagi? No, you are not. You did not come out of the box that way. Get yourself together and mind your manners. What is wrong with these people? So if you're in our house, that is 100 Watts in a Wire community, it's a big ass house right now, especially on social media. And the show is even bigger. That's not an ego trip. That's why I'm saying it here, and it didn't reply on social media. You know, if you come in, you got somebody baiting you or trolling you, that's one thing. If you come in and you're an Alpha Hotel, in your reply, stop, pump the brakes and go, I'm not going to hit send right now, hold on. This could be seen as me being a jack-off. Let me wait here. Because what it does is it just precipitates down. And there's a big part of our community that say, Christian, don't acknowledge the QRMers. I mean, if you're going to acknowledge those QRMers, they're just going to keep on doing it. No, mind your manners and remember where you come from. If you've got a lot of experience, you just didn't pop out of the box knowing everything. And 100 Watts in a Wire is a place where you're supposed to be able to go, and it's cool not to know everything. Don't come in being an Alpha Hotel on any side of it. Whether you're a troll, we'll get you. And if you get riled up and lose your manners, we'll come talk to you there too. Again, it's not an ego or a power trip, man, but we got to keep some things in balance here. Remember where you come from. Oh, Lord. Oh, I got to take off a few weeks. Get back to the spirit of radio and giving, because most of the time, most of the people on the air and in your social media presence and on your shows are very positive. You may not even dig this show or other ones that are different from this one, but kind of podcast or video YouTubers or whatever. They may not be your cup of tea, but they're trying to help you. They're trying to do it, most of them. Some of them are out there to sell you stuff, push you on a product or whatever they are. So not everybody's got great intentions across the board, right? As a community, let's lock arms, rise together, and help people out, because otherwise, hams aren't children. We all look at the young hams and get excited about it, like, wow, this is great. But we look at each other sometimes like, nah, look at this guy. G5 RV. So what? Remember what you were told. Any antenna is better than no antenna. Get me up in here all riled up. So look, my crew, Team 100, keep it together. We're going to see some bumps in the road in terms of trolling, in terms of people baiting us, in terms of people replying a little bit out of the box and untrue of the character, of the spirit of it. That's all right. Anytime you get close to 10,000 people in a room, you're going to have a couple of alpha hotels. Got it. Don't let them pull you in. That's all I'm going to say. I've been working on a new logo with my partner who helped me on the original design. We're not changing. It's just going to be another version of the logo. It's more horizontal. We can do some other things with the horizontal. If you want to see it, go to 100wattsandawire.com. You can see the new look. I love it. I think it's cool. And I was working on the website over the weekend, just trying to get it there and get it in place. And before you know it, it'll be in the shop. You'll be able to get your T-shirts and your gear and that sort of stuff with both versions. I thought horizontal would be good to have with the vertical. Love them both. Both have the same characteristics as the original. Or one is the original and the other has the characteristics and same color pattern. Better. So visit 100wattsandawire.com. While you're there, consider becoming a sustaining member to our show and our community. We appreciate you. The toolkit is there. You can subscribe to the podcast there. I appreciate that. Everything is free, but your numbers will help us become more attractive to potential sponsors because they want to get their products in front of you. So that's very helpful. Tell your friends about the show. All good. All free for you, the listener. So much going on, get me riled up. I've got a little bit of antenna work to do. I need to take care of that 40 meter and find that issue there. 160, of course, is not in as a band right now, but she's back up in the sky, which is cool. Ooh, I forgot to tell you. Remember a couple of shows ago, I was venting about the ARRL telling me 5 months in advance that my membership is coming up due. Going to need that money in October, see, child. Well, 2 weeks later, I got another reminder. 2 times in the same month, 5 months in advance, they spent the money on the stamps. I got it. You are not getting my money until October, if at all. I am not anti-league, but you don't have to tell me every other week from now till October when my membership would run out and expire. You don't have to do that. Save the money and put it towards something else. The money in postage alone. Good grief. Oh, you guys got me fired up today. Somebody light a candle in church for me. I think I just started speaking Polish. All right, it's a good time to get out. Hello to all my Polish brothers and sisters. I wish the community was a little thicker here in St. Louis, but I've got to go south of the city to find it and get the good food. Tap into my roots. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Until next time, if you can. We're busy. We've got a lot going on. But no matter what you do, please try and stay above the noise.
To join the 100 Watts and a Wire community, visit 100wattsandawire.com.